The most profound insight that has shaped me as a leader is this one thing that every leader I've looked up to has in common. And it's because it was true in their lives. And honestly, it was more of a reflection over their life. And so today, I'm curious if it's true in yours. It was this statement. When I was in my young 20s, I was a complete idiot. Not sure if that's the profound insight that you thought I was going, and maybe that hit home a little bit, but that shaped me as a leader because I knew I didn't want to be that complete idiot in my young 20s. Well, I started my career at 22, off to a great start, but now I'm 26, I'm still a young leader, and while I'm in the clear, I'm still the mid-20-something-year-old here to talk with you today about some raw honesty and urgency about this one idea. And listen, I know that I'm a young leader, and I know that I don't know what I don't know, but one thing that I do know is that there is a difference between life and death. And so, today, to my older leaders listening, if there are no young leaders around you, your organization, your business, your ministry, whatever it is that you're leading, your legacy, it will die when you die. Today, I want to talk to you about one idea that you need, the people you're leading need, and the legacy you want to leave demands. But first, I want to share with you a couple of things I wanted to title this talk. First off, what to do with all the millennials around you. Then I thought most of you would be thinking, what millennials? They're still figuring out their passions. Bad idea. The other idea I had was to all the bosses I've ever had. And then I'm like, man, that makes me sound like such a millennial. Definitely a bad idea. And so this is where I landed. What you miss when you dismiss us. Because while I know there's a lot of laughter and maybe even some smiles or some of these when talking about the millennials or Gen Zers in your life, but one thing I know is this, is that myself and the young leaders like myself, we are up against a culture that dismisses us. And after being dismissed, I am not surprised that we have bred a culture that is quicker to cancel than they are to lead. And so what does this have to do with you, the older leader here listening today, maybe even just leader listening today? Because I know that there is a lot of research out there about how to empower young leaders, but this is different because it's not just how do we look at young people differently, it's how do you look at me differently? Because I am the young leader that is up against being dismissed. And because if nothing changes, I miss out, you miss out, and it will be the difference between the life and death of your leadership's efforts. And I believe that this difference is in this one idea. Proximity. Proximity is the nearness of space, time, and relationship. And this idea came to me actually when I was in the thick of my career. One of those moments in that point where I'm evaluating all of my time, my effort, my resources, and wondering, is this worth it? You see, because for me, I left the country right after when I was young, in my young 20s. I left the country, classic millennial, am I right? And I thought to myself, I'm here, this is why I'm started, but here I am, fast forward to the thick of my career, wondering, what am I doing here? And if you don't speak millennial, the thick of my career is just about under a year of being in the job. And while I know it's just a year, I had some deep wrestle. And so I started to read through the Gospels, and if you don't know what those are just the stories of Jesus. And yes, while I am a follower of Jesus, Jesus Christ had the greatest legacy on this earth. And so whether you know of him or maybe you know him like I do, there is something to learn. And so for me, while I was questioning, what am I doing here? I started to question, what on earth did Jesus do? Like literally, what did he do while he was on earth? Because this man's mission was to bring souls from death to life for every tongue, tribe, and nation. Why didn't he go to every tongue, tribe, and nation? But that's not what he did. Jesus' strategy to change the world was through the strategy of proximity. And so if you're a leader here, any attempt to lead through change, we must take this into account. Because Jesus' strategy was the strategy of follow me, not meet at the synagogue, but it was follow me. Follow me with nearness of time, space, relationship. And so what does that look like for us? Well, I want to pause right now because I want to ask you this question. Imagine if we built up people as much as we build up our organizations. And for some of you, that might have sounded synonymous. You might be thinking, I do build up people so that I can build up my organization. But I'm telling you, there is a difference, and I'm telling you, proximity is that. You see, because proximity is the difference between building up people and processes for whatever you're leading to people and purposes for how they're gonna lead. That's the difference. And this is a difference that instead of investing just in what is someone doing for me, it's investing in their lives and who they're becoming. Because if you want your organization to last, you have to invest in the lives that make it up. And so with proximity, the power in it is that it allows for shifts. It allows for this shift from principle to practice. You see, instead of just listening to maybe how to lead or how to delegate or how to cast vision, shifting from principle to practice means taking this leadership principle and with your proximity, inviting me into those meetings, inviting me in to watch you lead. I'm learning how to delegate. I'm learning how to cast vision. I'm learning how to lead through change. You see, it makes a way for shift. And I know this because for me, when I was the young 20-something-year-old with no opportunities because I didn't know what I wanted to do and it was very unknown, the difference that helped me bypass the complete idiot stages was having leaders invite me into their proximity. Because I knew how to position myself under them, but the difference was they invited me to learn from them. And so some of you might be thinking, why not just give them opportunity? No. It's not just opportunity because I've seen that fail. You see, if you only invest in opportunity, you're investing in a culture of entitlement because you have a bunch of young leaders chasing after these big opportunities. But the difference is, and actually pause right there, please keep delegating, please give us things away. But I'm saying it's more because instead of just me learning how to think about how to get there, it's me learning how to think about how to lead when I'm there. You see, proximity allows for this shift from principle to practice, but also opportunity to relationship. Because relationship is gonna be the thing that helps me sustain whatever it is that I'm leading. Because right now we got a bunch of young leaders that are capable because as young leaders, and you know, we rush from opportunity to opportunity. And if we have capability but no character, and that's developed in proximity, then whatever it is that we're leading, it's not gonna sustain. Because capability without character, it will corrupt whatever culture you're trying to lead. And so it's more than just opportunity. You know, older leaders, it is inviting us into your time, space, proximity to learn from you. And I know that this idea, it might not fit on your org chart. Vulnerability might not have a space in your open offices. You know, this might be hidden in the hierarchy that you thought you overthrew, or maybe it just doesn't fit in your calendar. Well, I want to leave you with some practices of what this could actually look like. You know, professional proximity, this is what it could look like. What meetings, what projects, what one-on-ones, what time in my office am I spending where I can invite young leaders in to not just hear about how to lead, but to watch me lead, to watch how I cast vision, delegate, lead through change. Whatever it is that us leaders do, how can I invite young leaders into that? Personal proximity. Man, if you have the privilege to do this, and if you're a leader here, if you're leading, man, caring about the people you're leading will make you an exceptionally better leader. And so hear me say this, if you have this privilege, personal proximity looks like maybe inviting young leaders over for dinner, looking for ways where they can see how you're a leader beyond whatever it is that you're leading, how you're a leader at your home, how you're a leader in relationships. Proximity is the thing that allows for shifts to happen and for us young leaders to not just have capability, but have character. And so to my younger leaders, the number one thing that won't ever get us a seat at the table is entitlement. And as I'm talking about this idea of proximity, just know we are not entitled to proximity. So instead of growing impatient to lead, why don't we grow urgency to learn? And maybe it's starting to look like what leaders around you have already given you proximity that you can do something with. And to my older leaders, this is the last thing I want to leave you with. If this is an idea that you don't think is worth it, I am telling you, there are young leaders that won't think your leadership or the legacy you're wanting to lead is worth it either. And so how can you, maybe this week, this month, this year, invite us, the young leaders around you, into your proximity to learn?